यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण 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 राम। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
कृष्णा कृष्णा
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Rama
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय वो विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्यष्ठोत्तरः श्रीहिड्वान्वेष भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य इति कौ इति आशुति कथम आश्रित्य भगवत्कथम् शत आनंदम परम लेभे शतानंदम परम लेभे शतानंदम परम लेभे महाभागवतो द्विजा महाभागवतो द्विजा महाभागवतो द्विजा शुवाच इति कौम् आश्रित्य थाम् शतानन्दं परं देभे महाभागवतो द्विजा सोत उवाच इति कौसारवाद इति कौसारवाक्याताम् आश्रित्य भगवत्कथाम् शतानन्दं परं लेभे महाभागवतो द्विजा सोत उवाच इति कौशारवाक्याता आश्रुत्या भगवत्कथा श्रद्धानन्दं वरं लेभे महाभागवतो द्विजा सोतवाच इति कौशारवाख्याता आश्रुत्या भगवत्कथा शतानन्दं परं लेभे महाभागवतो द्विजा सोतवाच श्रीकौसारवाख्याता आश्रुत्या भगवत्कथां शतानन्दं परं लेभे महाभागवतो द्विजा श्रुतवाच इति कौशारवाख्याताम् आश्रुत्या भगवत्कथा शतानन्दं परं लेभे महाभागवतो द्विजा श्रुतवाच इति कौशारवाख्याता आश्रुत्या भगवत्कथा शतानन्दं परं लेभे महाभागवतो द्विजा. What one meaning? Sutta Goswami Uvacha said, Iti thus Kausharava from Maitreya, son of Kausharo, Akyatam told, Ashrutya having heard Bhagavad Katham, the narration about the Lord, Shattha Vidhura, Anandam bliss, Param transcendental, Lebhe achieved, Mahabhagavataha the great devotees, Dvija, O Brahmana, Shavanaka. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, Shri Radha Krishna Thakur Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation: Sri Sutta Goswami continued, My dear Brahmana, Shattha Vidura, the great devotee of the Lord, achieved transcendental bliss by hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the authoritative source of the sage Kausharava Maitreya, and he was very pleased. Translation with the repetition. Sri Sutta Goswami continued, My dear Brahmana, Shattha Vidhura, the great devotee of the Lord, achieved transcendental bliss by hearing the narration of the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the authoritative source of the sage Kausarava Maitreya, and he was very pleased. Purport: If anyone wants to derive transcendental pleasure by hearing the pastimes of the Lord, he must hear from the authoritative source. As explained here, Maitreya heard the narration from his bona fide spiritual master, and Vidura also heard from Maitreya. One becomes as an authority simply by presenting whatever he was heard from his spiritual master. And one who does not accept a bona fide spiritual master cannot be an authority. This is clearly explained here. If one wants to have transcendental pleasure, he must be a person with authority. It is also stated in the Bhagavatam that simply by hearing from an authoritative source with the ear and the heart, one can relish the pastime of the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible. Sanatana Goswami, therefore, was especially warned that one should not hear anything about the personality of the Lord, from the lips of a non-devotee. Non-devotees are considered to be like serpents. As milk is poisoned by serpent's touch, so although narration of the pastime the Lord is as pure as milk, when administered by the serpent-like non-devotees, it becomes poisonous. Not only does it have no effect of transcendental pleasure, but is dangerous also. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was warned that no description of the pastimes of the Lord should be heard from the Mayavada or impersonalist school. He has clearly said, Mayavadi Bhasha Sunile Haya Sarvanasha. If anyone hears the Mayavadi's interpretation of the pastimes of the Lord or their interpretation of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, or any other Vedic literature, then he is doomed. Once one is associated with the impersonalist, he can never understand the personal feature of the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. Sutta Goswami was speaking to the sages headed by Shavanaka, and therefore he addressed them in this verse as Dvija, twice word. The sages assembled in Naimisharanya hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Sutta Goswami were all Brahmanas. But to acquire the qualification of a Brahmana is not everything. Merely to be twice born is not perfection. Perfection is attained when one hears the pastimes and activities of the Lord from a bona fide source. The sense of Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vashati Deshadalini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gathadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter The Killing of the Demon Hiranyaksha. Till now we have heard how Lord Varaha killed Hiranyaksha, and there is a battle between Hiranyaksha and Lord Varaha. And finally, Lord killed Hiranyaksha. All the devatas headed by Brahma, witnessing the great battle between these two personalities. And after the killing of the demon, Lord Brahma glorified the Lord. And also, devatas are offered their prayers to the Lord for the Lord kill the demon and release devatas from the big trouble of Hiranyaksha. And this conversation is happening between Maitreya Muni and Vidura. And this conversation of Vidura and Maitreya Muni spoken by Suta Goswami at Naimisharanya se Bhagavata Katha. So Maitreya was telling, after killing the demon Hiranyaksha, Lord left this planet and entered his own abode. Returned to his own abode where always interrupted festivals. So Maitreya Muni say, after the killing of Hiranyaksha, the Lord is left this temporary planet and entered his own abode, which is full of festivals, mean lot of celebration. Furthermore, say Maitreya is telling to Vidura, I have explained to you the personality of Godhead coming down as a firstborn incarnation and killing the great fight, killing in a great fight a demon of unprecedented powers, as if he were just playing thing, like a plaything. This has been narrated by me as I heard from my preceding spiritual master. So, Maitreya Muni also telling, this what I heard, so my preceding acharyas, and that was a narration I am given to you. And this was a narration Maitreya heard and given to the Vidura. The same narration Suta Goswami heard at Naimisharanya. Suta Goswami heard at when Sukadeva Goswami is speaking the Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So here Suta Goswami is saying, my dear Brahmanas, referring to Shavanaka Rishi, heading the Brahmanas at Naimisharanya. Shattha Vidura, the great devotee of the Lord, achieved transcendental bliss by hearing narration of the 5 times the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the authoritative source of sage Maitreya, and he was very pleased. Subject is fighting. And fighting subject is not very pleasing normally. Fighting because someone will get killed or someone get harmed, someone is lost. So normally any fightings and wars is not very pleasing. But here the loss, every activity is pleasing. This is a uniqueness of Lord's activity. There is no duality in Lord's activities. So in the material world, whatever the mundane people or conditioned souls for we do, something we call good, something is bad, somebody is pleasurable, somebody is not pleasurable. Like there is a duality, there is a difference. But the Lord's activities, every activities are transcendental, is beyond good and bad of this material world. So, why good and bad of the material? Because good and bad is related to the material world, which is experienced through our senses. And Lord's activities, atindriya, beyond the sense perception. So, Lord's activities are experienced in heart. That's what he has said, Prabhupada, the purport. Okay, it is not experienced by something seeing or some touching or some hearing or smelling or tasting. It's not only experiencing like this. So that's what the material, what you experience. Any experience mean that experience is come out of the sense perception or by the senses. But the Lord's activity is not only by experience. But it's here. Say what here Prabhupada say in the purport. If anyone wants to derive transcendental pleasure by hearing the pastime of the Lord, he must hear from the authoritative source. As explained here, Maitreya heard the narration from the bona fide spiritual master, and Vidura also heard from Maitreya. One becomes an authority simply by presenting whatever he has heard from his spiritual master. And one who does not accept a bona fide spiritual master cannot be an authority. This is clearly explained here. If one wants to have transcendental pleasure, he must find a person with authority. It is also stated in the Bhagavatam that simply by hearing from an authoritative source with the ears and the heart. Normal hearing only from ears. So we hearing from ears. Now the transcendental pleasure is not only heard, experienced by senses, not only, it is also heard through the heart. This is the difference. That's the reason. So the transcendental subject matter, it is not simply experienced by senses. Okay, it's also because it's complete, absolute. So it's also experienced through the senses and it's also experienced through the heart. So that's the reason it's called pleasure, bliss. And normally any mundane, good and bad, only experience through the five senses. So again here say, when you hear from a bona fide authority, then only able to experience the transcendental pleasure. Not hearing from everyone. If you hear from a bona fide authority, how Maitreya heard from Lord Krishna himself, and Vidura heard from Maitreya Rishi. So who was the speaker of the Bhagavatam, or who was the speaker of the Katha of the Lord, he must be comes under a bona fide authority or disciple succession. One should hear from that personality only. Otherwise, Sanatana Goswami is instructing here, Avaishnava mukha udrita harikatha amrita shrunata nakarthavyaha. One should not hear the Lord's katha, harikatha. Nakarthavyaha. One should not hear. Hari Katha Amrita. The Lord's pastimes are very nectarian. But milk is very healthy. drinking a milk is very healthy. Same milk is touched by a serpent, a poisonous serpent. Same milk is no more healthy, is the cause of the death. Milk transformed into a poison. Similarly, a Harikatha is a nectarian, and the same Harikatha is touched or spoke by a non-devotee who is not the devotee of the Lord, Vaishnava. And such Harikatha also spoils one's spiritual life. I mean, it is to kill the spiritual assets of a devotee hearing. So, Sanatana Goswami strictly informing here, one should hear from Vaishnava. I mean, a parampara, hearing from the authority, mean the speaker must come under a Vaishnava Sampradaya, then, and he must be authorized. Authorized means one may be a spiritual master or a representative of the spiritual master. From such Vaishnavas, one should hear the Harikatha. And such Harikatha brings transcendental bliss. Here, Suta Goswami is telling, Vidura is experienced transcendental bliss by hearing from the lost pastimes from the mouth of Maitreya Muni. So, hearing from the authorized source, important. And also, the intensity of hearing also more important. Okay, in the sitting in Bhagavata Katha, you're hearing everyone. Sometimes not hearing, at least falling down on ears, not hearing. So, senses are sleeping, and thus Katha is here, falling on the. That's also a valid thing. But thing is, okay, one should try to hear the Harikatha with the great interest, attention. At the perfection stage, this is what going to happen. At the perfection stage, one is unsatisfied hearing more and more and more and more Krishna Katha. Why is unsatisfied? Because Krishna Katha is so pleasurable, is drinking the nectar of the Krishna Katha or Harikatha repeatedly. And still you're not feeling, now I am satisfied, no more. So that what in earlier verse where Maitreya Muni said, okay, Lord, kill the Hiranyaksha, went his own abode, where all the time celebration is happening. Celebration means enjoyment. Celebration means enjoyment. Hearing the Krishna Katha, engage in the activities to give pleasure to the Lord. Ussava. This is called giving the pleasure to the Lord is Ussava. In this way, everyone engaged in so many activities pleasing to the Lord. Untired. So, one attain that, then, and such a devotee, he not have anything superior benefit than this. There is nothing superior to that. Yam ladva chaparam labham manyate nadikam tataha yasmin sito hi dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate Samvidyad dukkha samyogo vyogam yoga samsita. Lord Krishna say, once attain that stage, yallabdhva chaparam. Once get that happiness, bliss, there is no superior bliss than this. Labha, benefit than this. Here Prabhupada say, the stage of perfection is called trance or samadhi, when one mind is completely restrained from all the mental activities by practice yoga. This characterized by one's ability to use the self by pure mind and relish and rejoice in the self. In that rejoiced state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness and enjoys himself through transcendental senses. Enjoy through the transcendental senses. Established thus, one is never depart from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. There is no greater gain. So we are always trying for the some gain, much better gain, much better gain. We are trying. There is no superior gain than this. When labdhva nacharam labham. When a person is come to that platform, there is no search for furthermore better, and one will attain it. So that's the reason these all the instructions very important to understand and contemplate on these things. Otherwise, we contemplate so many things. All those things are actually eating our energy, unwanted things, and so the Bhagavatam, the Vedic books are so practical. And practical means this all to be experienced in this life with the same body. When we transform into a spiritual, this body transforms into spiritual. So practical. But we are not serious about, and we are not convinced about the topics. So many times I say, these are not the philosophies. This is not reality. Whatever Bhagavata speaks is reality. So, one attain that transcendental position, yadate mohakalilam buddhir vitirishati tada gantasi nirvedam shotavyasutachata. Once intelligence is passed out of dense forest of delusion, for him indifferent. For such person, nothing will disturb in this material world. We all are looking for a status where I not be disturbed by anything. And Bhagavad Gita Bhagavad speaking, you want to attain that state. That is the way. Even though you are practicing spiritual life, but we are not in the stage of that. And Bhagavad speaking, one day to come to this platform. Uninterrupted bliss. So, hearing the Bhagavata from bona fide authority and contemplating on that, and the whatever to attain that, there is many instructions. To attain, come to that platform, there is a lot of instruction. Very seriously, strictly full of confidence and conviction. Want to practice. Bhagavatam, his subject is not here, okay, then busy with whatever my mind instruct me. telling to mind to follow the instruction of the Bhagavatam, not hear the mind's instruction. Teaching the mind, hear the Bhagavata, act according to the Bhagavata instruction. So that one participant come to the platform. And in such, one attain that stage, then none of these material things will disturb him. So, Bhagavata speaks some unique standard of life, which is not available for a mundane person at any time with the best of their effort, with all the endeavor, whatever intelligent expert you use, you try to attain in this material world. Far, far, far superior to that. When a spiritual man who is practicing, spiritual devotee, practicing under the guidance of bona fide spiritual master, if you seriously take up in the very life, one able to attain that. So, these are the very important topics of the Bhagavata. Repeatedly, not a single shloka of the Bhagavatam is not important if properly studied. So studying with full of attention and hearing the Bhagavatam, one's life will become Bhagavata. So, the great devotees are discuss Bodhayam tam padasparam ramayantaham. They enjoy and discuss the topics of Krishna all the time, because Krishna topic is so pleasurable. And such people forget about everything, other things. This is a way one able to detach from the material allurement. Otherwise, we always discover the material allurement. Okay, we will be attracted by sense gratification. One to keep away, or one should protected from such things. One should continuous hearing, meditating, contemplating on the topics of the Bhagavatam. So how Vidura is experienced by hearing. N number of places come such situations. So, very important. So here, Prabhupada say here, so Mayavad is not able to understand these topics. Only devotee is able to experience these things. So that's the reason Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say, Mayavadhi Bhashu Sunilehaya Sarvanash. If anyone hears the Mayavadi interpretation of the pastimes of the Lord, or their interpretation of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, or any Vedic literature, then he is doomed. Once one is associated with the impersonalist, he can never understand the personal feature of the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. Suta Goswami was speaking to the sages headed by Shaunaka, and therefore he addressed them as, in this verse, as Dvicha, twice but. The sages assembled in Naimisharanya, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Suta Goswami, were all Brahmanas. So, but therefore Prabhupada say, but to acquire the qualification of Brahmana is not everything. Acquiring the qualification of Brahmana is not everything. Merely to a twice born is not perfection. Perfection is attained when one hears the pastimes and activities of the Lord from the bona fide source. See how important. Simply becoming Brahmana is not sufficient, Prabhupada say. But hearing the Bhagavata, see, unless there is no Bhagavata Katha, there is no Vaishnavism. Vaishnavism means hear the Krishna's pastime and serve the Lord and engage in, absorb in Krishna's activities. Jalma karme chame dhivyam. The activities of the Lord is transcendental. So when it's observed, okay, the perfection is attained when he hears from the fast and it hears the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Lord from a bona fide source. So hearing the Bhagavata Katha is very, very important. It's not okay, someone is okay, following rules, regulations, everything perfectly. Not sufficient. Developing the taste for hearing the Bhagavata is actually the qualification. Even though a person is swapacha, eater, dog eater, even is developed the interest for the Krishna Katha, is superior to a Brahmana. Okay, let's stop here. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.